Hello, viewers. I'm SB, and welcome back to Taiji, where I am recording a little bit earlier in the evening and feeling a little bit refreshed here. I don't know what happened last night while I was recording. I just started flagging really bad, kind of in the middle of the episode. Um, hopefully I have a little bit more gas in the tank today. Although I thought I was fine last night. So I worked out a solution for this in my somewhat addled state. The bit I was missing was it seemed like it was impossible to construct a clean group of four down here in the corner for this four, and that's because it was impossible. But also, it turns out not to be necessary because you can just join the two fours into a group of eight, which allows you to cover all the space, and it's easy as long as you're not assuming that it's impossible. As long as you haven't figured out that it's impossible. Okay, so where are we here? Ah, yes, I remember this. This yellow bit is a problem. So we need a different solution. There are functional solutions to this stage that make this stage impossible. Problematic, for sure. All right, let's have a look at what is the deal here. So I have a shape here that must remain. This could be moved around some, though. Or I guess the whole middle part might also be wrong. Are there multiple solutions available for this? No, probably not. This is probably the only available solution here, right? Because, yeah, there's just no way to like tilt these to the side without well, is that true? Like, what if we swapped these? So we made these, like, all this stuff light. So this was shifted over here. That could be 6. Well, no, because then we're getting to a point where we're connecting the teal shape and the yellow shape. So probably this is the only solution there. Probably we can trust this stuff is okay. And that does give us some things that must be true on this layer, right? Like, at the very least, this stuff all has to be true because the lit stuff here has to be true because we have to give this some coverage. This tile is going to have to be lit. And I guess actually, sorry, this is 100% known, which means that tile does have to be lit. We can, however, potentially play with the shape of this a little bit. But I can't pick up this square. So what, those have to be dark. Which means, like, I can't. Filling this square in gets us too much stuff, though. Gosh, it sure seems like the solution I had before is pretty much the only one that works. Alright, am I being too quick to be dismissive here? Like, the problem of these two squares having to be connected to those two squares is pretty obvious. What we really need is for this to be available to join the yellow shape, right? Yeah, that's a real problem. Real actual trouble. So you get some problems down here too. Because, like, how are we going to enclose the white shapes that it doesn't, maybe I do need to go back and search for a different solution to the earlier puzzles. Oh, I can change the way the middle of this is shaped, which has implications. Although that actually is not. So doing this makes the puzzle unsolvable. It does have to be this, doesn't it? Yeah, this is the only arrangement that keeps this solvable. And then with this arranged this way, these 6 have to be the light spaces because we can't touch that shape. And if that's the case, gosh, it sure seems like this is the only thing that works. Can I... What am I missing? Well, okay, how about this? Does this have to be lit? Why does this have to be lit? Can it be that? Oh, right, I have to put in a lit space here to separate those two. But... oh, if I put a lit space there, yeah, it does create problems, doesn't it? So that's the answer to that, is because there's no way to bound this space. Yeah. There's no reason this couldn't be a dark shape, except that there's no way to create a boundary for it without invalidating this shape. And this one does have to be lit because it's next to a dark space of a different color. But this solution seems to be insufficient in a number of locations in the next ring. Right, we get into a problem here and a problem here. So I am definitely wondering if the problem is I just need to refigure this entirely. But as things stand, this must be lit because this is dark, which means this must be dark, and the only spaces it can fill are those. And then this thing has to be in those spaces, which means this has to be blocked. All of that, like, we just end up right back here very quickly. There's still something critically important that I'm missing. Here's a question. Can I... so if I go back and edit this puzzle, it doesn't edit the future steps. Yeah, I have to submit a puzzle that is legitimate. What I'm kind of wondering is if there's a way to, like, go back here and put in an answer that doesn't work for an earlier stage. Like, if I hit submit on this, it doesn't affect. It will only pass the information forward if it's in the form of a valid solution. Okay. What about this? This has to be dark, but this doesn't necessarily have to be lit. Right? What if we do this instead? Right? That's a valid solution. And that's going to change things significantly over here. Maybe this is the way forward. So this still has to be lit because otherwise it's combined with this shape. No, this arrangement makes this phase of the puzzle impossible immediately. Because there's no way to build this shape out. Right, because that's going to fail. That's going to fail those real fast. Yeah. So I must have been right before. We'll come back to this one. Still not on top of it. Okay. How about this? I feel like this is approximately where I was last time. Okay, so that shape is the correct number of tiles already. Just go ahead and draw some stuff in here. Stuff that I'm sure I already had marked last time, but it seems like the game does not remember your markings, which is interesting. So, right, that's a whole shape. This is going to pick up one of those two. Hard to know which. Just sort of trusting Samhain from the last episode here, assuming that all of her math is good. We'll see. We'll see how foolish that turns out to be. Yeah, these all have to be marked because there's no way to connect a lit black shape to here. Which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Obviously, that's problematic. So there's going to be a blocker in here somewhere. What if it's like this is lit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It can't connect here. And in fact, we need to use a blocker here because otherwise this shape is going to connect there. No matter how we draw it. So that would have us grabbing like this stuff up here. Yeah, and it's like it's going to have to be the case no matter how this area is blocked off, and like we don't actually know this is lit. But no matter where you insert a block here to make it valid for this space to be claimed without putting us over 9 boxes, is going to result in this space also being claimed dark, right? And if that's true, then that means this space is light so that the black shape and the yellow shape don't collide, which means this yellow shape is like this, which gives us that. Which means these white shapes combine to make that 6, which is pretty straightforward. Ooh, problem. I may have made a bad assumption somewhere here. Because, like, this has to be lit, right? If this is dark, this is going to have to be lit. But that's a 5 shape already. And we're not going to be able to reach around and grab this, are we? It's like this has to go... Yeah, this is going to have to extend down to here. And then this shape, like the full thing there, is like 10 tiles. So maybe this... Alright, let me undo some things. So let's not be too confident about that. This area is still really interesting. It gives us a lot to work with because these things have to extend away from each other. You two are definitely lit, or definitely not lit, and we'll figure out the rest of the implications of that later. So these two are for sure connected. This is a single 6 tile shape. But it's really hard to say anything more about it than that for the moment. I guess we know that one of these two is lit to break the white shape away from this yellow shape. We know this is going to have to be lit to prevent it from combining with that, which means this shape extends in this direction. And then we have to fill all those squares in, which is problematic. Yeah, because this shape and that shape can't touch. Well, hold on. Sorry, this doesn't have to extend down. This can totally extend that way. I just was like, I was extending the line of things down, but this absolutely could build out into the corner. We don't know exactly where that is, actually. This does still have to be lit, though. Well, no, it does not. It does not necessarily... In fact, it has to be dark. I was looking at this tile, but this tile is not part of a shape. It's part of the border of a shape. This tile can totally be in shape with that. But this 4 has to extend to either this space or that space, forcing this to be a dark tile. So this is going to have to be lit because it has to be a border between those two, which extends you that way. Doesn't give us anything on you, though. One of these two is the other shape in this turquoise 4, the other square in this turquoise 4, but we do not know which yet. You know, you are dark because if you were lit, you'd be part of a group of tiles that is simply too large. We're kind of getting there. We're sort of getting close. You are obviously dark because you have to be with the 4 next to you and everything. I guess with these down, we know that this dark shape runs down here. And then, is it possible? No, it is not possible for these to reach out and connect because first of all, they'd be merging with that shape. And secondly, they'd be constraining this shape. So I think we know this is isolated, which means we can just go ahead and fill in the light squares around it. That gives us this shape, which must be bounded by dark squares, which means this also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's no good. That makes this shape bad. Bloody hell. All right. I'm just going to finish building here and then we're going to tweak it later. Because this shape cannot exist the way things are built right now. It's a problem. So there has to be another lit square in here somewhere. There aren't really that many places where it could be, honestly. Building it here is going to require us to rearrange this shape, which is currently at the correct number of squares. Okay. Here's the thing I see. This shape has to be dark because if it was lit, it would make the 4 into a 5. And if that is dark, then the spaces around it have to not be dark, which creates another problem. But not one we can do anything about. Yeah, it's like extremely problematic. This thing is going to connect to a huge amount of space no matter what we do. So yeah, there are a couple of places where the logic chain broke down and we ended up with some bad info. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's also a problem because if we just fill all of this in, it actually makes 10. And if we drop a white block in here somewhere to separate this off, then we don't have 9 tiles anymore at all. The bad assumptions. Somewhere there are some bad assumptions. All right, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to take a look at this with completely fresh eyes. I wish there was an easy way to just turn off the markings for a puzzle. Okay. Let's come at it clean once again. So first things first. Am I actually certain that the one-off tiles must be by themselves? So these two shapes don't connect easily because of the 3. Right? Like at the very least, this goes down like that. So no, there's no way these could connect into one shape that would give them enough squares to reach down there. So yeah, I do feel like these are still definitely singletons that are definitely blocked off by their opposites. Same here. There's no way for dark white spaces to reach far enough down here, given that this stuff up here can't all connect up. So we can mark that. Yeah, this one definitely gets marked. Okay. That also gives us this shape, although... Well, does it? This could be a lit 3. Yeah, we don't know that. Hold on. If all this stuff is right... Try not to fall into any of the same problems here. But if all this stuff is right, which it looks like it must be, then we have this 9 lit blue shape right here. Sort of a teal, I guess. So dark, dark, dark to avoid intermingling with the other adjacent shapes. You're going to end up also being dark, I think. Is that definitely... Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, this is right. It's got a dotted outline. Yes, it's going to be dark. That's what they're telling me. Also, this one is dark. And if that one is dark, there's no way for it to connect to another teal shape. So it gets bordered immediately. Yeah, it's pretty solid. Okay. So if these two squares are necessary extensions, this is also a necessary extension. And that shape can't connect with anything, so it gets bordered in immediately. This is going to have to be dark because it's adjacent to a light shape of a different color. This definitely can't touch these. Right, yeah, that's too many tiles already. So there's got to be a light tile separating them. Then this thing's going to reach out and grab a bunch of stuff, but I really don't want to start with that yet. So I guess we know this is lit to keep those separated, which makes that entire shape. And the thing is, if this is shaped the way it looks like it's shaped, if this 4 is shaped the way it looks like it's shaped, then this has to be a dark tile, which means that completes that and tells us all this is lit. This is actually fine for the 4. If all that stuff is true, then that's that 4. We bound it in. That makes this the 4th tile in the shape of yellow 5. We don't know which direction it's going to extend in from there. Actually, yeah, we do. It can't go here because it would connect to a ton of other dark tiles. It must end there. And then it can't quite connect to anything else, so it needs to be bounded as well. You definitely can't extend down here, which means this is this whole yellow shape. Gets bounded. You're set now, so we have to fill those in. That puts us on 5 dark tiles in this shape. We don't know exactly where the other one is, but we know it can't be here or here because it would create too large of a shape, which means it is there. All of that seems to be holding so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is still fucked up in a way that's really a problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So one of the squares in this area is not part of this, which means this must be, because if this wasn't, then it would cause problems. Oh, wait, actually, sorry, I forgot we didn't draw in the darkness here yet. So this is going to connect up to these shapes. Because, yeah, at least these tiles must be dark. And then this gains 2 more. Well, it can't reach over here because it would block this in, so it must reach up there, meaning those tiles have to be lit to cover it. Okay, 1, 2, so this needs 9. No matter what we do, this tile is going to get filled in. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right there, which means that is number 9. This is dark to separate. That's almost a solution, right? Like, that looks really right, except this part's fucked up. In like a really problematic way, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So here's a problem. This would need to lose oh, never mind. I was going to say it needs to lose an inconsequential edge tile that doesn't cut it off from any other tiles, but there aren't any of those left, but never mind. There's one right there. There we go. That's the solution. I made some bad reasoning somewhere, like real early in that, probably during yesterday's work, and just never got it under control. Okay, this one's interesting because we're told right away that these shapes have to connect to this. So 3, 6, 7 tiles accounted for, and in total we only have 11. No, 12. Sorry, this is an 8. So, I mean, it's easy enough to just do this. Right? That's the right number of tiles. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to cover that, and then the 2s, yeah. Were that the case, this all has to be true. Doesn't seem like it's going to be a problem. So this is 9 plus 5 is 14, 15. And I'm assuming connecting to these shapes is going to be too expensive. But like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's a solution, right? Yeah. It is weird how different in difficulty and complexity those two puzzles were. All right, so you reach down here to go around that. You reach out here to go around this. This shape is already figured for us. This is definitely not connected to anything else. We need to draw it in the rest of the way. That's going to do that. And then there are no more lit black shapes down here. So I think these two are getting... Yeah, these two shapes are getting capped in as well. Okay. So... this bit in the middle is interesting. Neither of these tiles can be dark because if they were, this shape would be connecting to something else. So that's going to have to be dark. Right? That's exactly enough space for this shape. And then that, yeah, this is going to get completely blocked in like that. This must be dark, which means this must be light. Is this the right number of squares? It is. 7, indeed. So that has to be dark to block this off. So you're going to extend up here. So the bottom part of this puzzle is really solid. We just have to figure out how this all is going to work. Okay, I guess we know this is dark because if this extended out here, it would turn into a 4. So one of these two squares is lit. It's like very tempting to think it's just this is lit and that's dark. And we continue the symmetry from down here. But I don't think we actually know that yet. It totally could be the case that they go up on the outer tile as well, I think. At least for the moment. For the moment, we don't know that that's impossible. So what else? Oh, okay, this thing being separated by itself means... those tiles are lit for sure. That's something. Be really easy for this to be lit and complete that shape. Is there any chance that that's not what's happening? Like if we drew it like this, that does leave room for this thing to spider out and this thing to just run alongside it? Maybe. Okay, well, one thing we definitely know is that this shape doesn't just lay horizontal, because it can't be in this square. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's going to be at least 2 squares in this shape that are above this row. And it can't take up both of these squares either, actually. So there are 3 squares in this shape that are above this row. So like it's either going to be this thing, or could reach up here and then do like that. But we know that doesn't work because that doesn't leave 7 squares for this. Are those actually the only 2 legal arrangements? Like, no version of this thing works. I can't build down here because we'd be blocking this off too early. I can't build up here because it's even more constraining. So I think actually this might be the only version of this shape that we can draw. If that's the case, this is going to connect like that. These both have to be dark. So that's 7 right there. Which... oh, sorry. This is not a 3. I can't do that. I was looking at that. I was like, huh, that seems to make the puzzle impossible. Yes, this is 5. I need 2 more squares for you. One of these has to be open, which means you must extend this way. But you can't extend to here because the 5 needs this. The 5 ends there, which means that's the dark square, that's the lit square. Did I not? Oh, these 2 shapes are touching now. Well... yeah, no, that's a problem. That is a problem. But if the 3rd square for this shape goes here, there's no arrangement of 5 squares in the corner that's safe for the other shape. Oh, this is totally legal for the 6. Yeah, I totally overlooked one legal layout for that 6. Okay. This is going to haunt me, but I'm not going to go back to it just now. We're just going to move forward. We're going to move forward around the circle in a direction that I have arbitrarily decided is forward. The negators, unfortunately, give us a really huge number of options for their use. So, like, in terms of how to use negators, this is a viable application, right? That leaves 4 diamonds. It's like this diamond then has to be connected to that thing. Which is like, I don't know, like this. This is a valid solution, right? Because this negator is taking out that shape, and this one's taking out one of the white diamonds. No. Like maybe it is the case that the white diamonds see these shapes as existing, even though the negator is like effectively removing them. So maybe the negators necessarily are connected to those other things. Yeah, maybe. I'm actually really curious though. So yeah, the white shapes are all showing a failure here. It's interesting that that's showing failed. This should be, oh right, no, because this shape is happy because it's in with one other white shape. And if I do this now, all 3 of the white shapes will be unhappy. Yeah. So okay, the way that the negators combine with the diamonds is actually hugely problematic. But I could put a black negator, no, because the black negator won't negate the white diamond. It can only negate things of its own color. So yeah, those being the rules, the diamonds and the negators necessarily cannot be shaped together. But, like, this is legal. This almost works. There's no way to separate these two shapes from each other, unfortunately. Never mind. There's one. I found it. That should work, right? The negator's just taking the numbers out. Why are they not doing it? They're showing as being unhappy, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. There we go. Did I accidentally... This is not 8 spaces. 5... Yeah, this... It's not clear to me why this one's not eliminating. Because it would be a problem if this was a satisfied shape, because it eliminates unsatisfied shapes, but this isn't a satisfied shape, right? Like, this is way too big. And I can't make it smaller, really. Like, I could do this, but I need to make it a lot smaller than that even. Yeah, that's interesting. It is not clear to me why that's not working. Especially given the fact that this one is working. Like, the shape on the bottom has the same logic as the shape on the top. The fact that this is flashing red is what should make this part work, and as such, the whole puzzle. We'll come back to that one, I guess. Alright, so if this is dark... I mean, this has to pair with one of the diamonds. Right, because obviously just like trying to draw it here leaves us with an isolated diamond. So it's going to have to pair with something, which means the other 5 also has to pair with something. Is it... Yeah, that one's pretty straightforward. Puzzles being next to each other does not necessarily suggest that they have to be similar at all. Can I make the negation of this? So you'd have to be dark, dark, dark. But the tiles around this one have to be lit. So maybe it's more like... sorry, this needs a lit tile here. There we go. That's a solution. So, I mean, this is going to have to grab this tile, right? Because there's no way to reach out and grab this one without creating a situation where I would not be able to copy the shape over. This is problematic, though, because this square, if this is the shape, this square has to be lit, because it can't be dark. If it was dark, then we'd be drawing up there. But then I can't bind the shape in any other way, so, like, this square being light or dark breaks the puzzle. So we probably have to be a little bit more clever than that. I really don't see it, though. How would I do... Okay, we don't have to connect through this square, I suppose. Right, something like that is also valid. And this square being empty means we can use this as a blocker for the side of this shape. Right, so now making this legal looks like that. Yeah, that can work. It's just really important you don't fill in that square specifically. I don't love this. So, actually, here's a question that I do need to answer. Okay, so this shape will not complain about the petals being inside of its count, even though the petal symbol has a non-yellow color on it. As long as it has yellow, it's fine. So, I mean, something like this to isolate the purple seems like it makes a lot of sense. And then this maintains that thing. But we can't exactly copy it over here because I need to fill in a bunch of squares that... Yeah. How do I deal with that? I was going to try to just have these two be the lit squares adjacent to this. Obviously, somewhat problematic given where the 5 is. This one is actually a little bit difficult. Okay. So let's say we want to use these to like just feed each other like that. There's not enough room between these. Like, no, these shapes have to reach out into the middle together. But simultaneously entirely at odds with each other. Because the single dots serve as like a hard barrier in this case. All right. What if... I do think we're going to end up doing something pretty asymmetrical here. So this needs to be dark. If that's the case, this is lit up, which is actually... not... yeah. So then this one has to be lit up, which means this one has to be dark. But if that's the case, this has to be lit. Yeah, this is really tough. It's really hard to make these two shapes not invalidate each other. Because, like, we have to provide a boundary for this. Hey, here's a question. No, never mind. I was idly wondering, like, whether it was possible to reach through... Well, hold on. So, like... that's a 5 square shape. That's a 6 square shape. It's a shame this can't be both states at the same time. Yeah, that's not going to work because it cuts the things off from each other. But I was just trying to like think of a way to use the fact that this is both yellow and purple simultaneously, but you can't due to the fact that these shapes have to cross each other. Probably you can't. Hold on. Like, what if it is going to squawk if I just make this whole area dark, right? Yeah, that does not work. Oh, right, it doesn't work because these things need, they need differing neighbors anyway. I galaxy brained myself for a second there, and I was like, what if they're being clever and the shapes are overlaid because both the yellow and the purple things see these as valid tiles? But they still don't see each other as valid tiles, right? They still can't be in the same shape for that reason. So what if it's like, is there any version of this shape that makes that work? No, because the problem here is immediately, then these two have to be lit, which breaks that shape. Maybe one of the fives claims both of them? No, because it's not... that would not leave room for this. Right, this thing needs at least this much space. And if that's the case, then this needs one more lit tile adjacent. And then this needs that to be lit, and then we run into a situation where I'm having to like turn stuff off. Because yeah, containing this thing is a complication for sure. This one doesn't look very difficult upon first blush, because there's only so many places that the lights can go. But actually, conceptually, I am finding this challenging. I hate to leave too much stuff undone. Alright, what are the legal arrangements here? If both of the mid tiles that are not symboled are a different color than one of these things, then this would have to be the case over here, which is like fine as far as encasing that goes. But it makes this shape impossible to satisfy. So, okay, this cannot be the case. It cannot be the case that either one of the symboled tiles is the only tile in the mid four that is that level of litness. What if we do like a 1 and 1? So then we have to provide light somewhere out here. No, that's also problematic because there's no way to contain the single dot if we do that. So I think it is the case that this is the center block. The center block is all one color. And then it's just a matter of figuring out how we manage that. But no, that can't be the case, right? Because how are you going to contain the corner bits? That would lead to both of these being the same color, the same level of litness. No, that definitely isn't right, which means that this looks impossible to me, which means that I'm missing something, probably like at a sort of a lower level, a less conscious level, a more conceptual level. We'll come back to it, I guess. Hold on. I'm going to do this one. This one's really easy. Never mind. That's white. I already did that one. Because it's really easy. Okay, yeah, we'll just do this instead. This will be simpler. Alright, what do we know? We know that this is dark, and that it's paired with that. And one presumes with this, but I suppose it could be that, right? This could be a lit tile, and this could extend upward to here, grabbing a pair of yellow things. In fact, this has to extend up because I have to grab the other black diamond. So this is going to end up being large enough that it's going to be very hard for it to contain any numbers. At least any numbers that we aren't scrubbing through the use of subtractors. So one way we could do this is like something like that, right? Pair of black diamonds, pair of yellow diamonds. The 3 here is eliminated by the eliminator. That leaves that as one shape. No, this doesn't work because there's no way to not lump the 3 in with the 1. So, okay. Is this going to break? Hold on a second. I want to see. Okay, the 3 is fine. The pips are fine being in the shape with a dot, with objects of another color, as long as it's not other dice pips of another color. In which case, this totally works. This ends up being like that. That's a problem. Maybe this doesn't totally works. Yeah, because there's no way we connect this to there easily, so we'd end up massively overflowing this 3. Which I guess is just a sign that this is not a functional solution. But I don't see a better one. Yeah, the fact that these 2 black diamonds have to be connected is definitely like the central hinge of this puzzle. So obviously, like, the plan could be to group these things together. Or, sorry, I guess actually that would almost certainly be lit, because this is going to have to snake through in the darkness then. Right? This could be the white symbol that we break. Although, how would we leave this area still able to resolve? So we have to find room for a 3 that has to be a different color than this thing. We certainly can't include this dot inside of our shape. Now we can. I don't know, this feels pretty familiar. Okay, so like, this is definitely lit. Let's say... this is going to have to be lit, because this has got to extend out that way. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right now. And if we go like 9, 10, 11, 12, we are 12 boxes and we have spent... yeah, we're at 12 boxes and there's allotment for 10 right now. So if we do this, That makes a 14 box shape that actually has a call for 14 blue pips. I think this is it. I think this is the answer. Everything pairs nicely. Yeah. Okay. We'll try. We'll at least have a look at the other two puzzles on these buttons, and then I'm gonna have to stop for the evening after that. So this is gonna have to all be the same, which is to say this has to be lit, because otherwise this thing is trapped away from its partner. And same logic applies up here. So we're already over the 4. We're definitely going to have to connect to other tiles here. But which ones is the question. So we have to leave room for this 4. The plan could be to just like leave it these spaces and go over it to connect to the black. In fact, I'm thinking that's probably what we're going to have to do. Because obviously it can't just connect through. Well, actually, could we... Right now we're on 6 spaces. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We'd have to pick up the other... Probably both the other yellow numbers, but honestly, that's pretty doable. So you end up like claiming a glob of space over here and also a thin finger that reaches around to grab that. And then up here, we just connect the dark... Honestly, that seems like it might work. So let's say we do it like this. Those connect up. So again, we want to end up at 16 tiles here for yellow. Right now we're on 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So this is a little tighter. This is a 15 tile shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Well. Oh, also, shoot, that has to be counted. And these don't all have to be connected in, but they kind of sort of do. So, okay, it's 15 tiles in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The problem with this is these 2 tiles have to be marked as part of one shape or the other, and we've hit our character limit, hit our numerical limit on both shapes. So these 2 tiles, what I actually need from them is for them to be nothing. Neither lit nor unlit. Okay, is there a way to reshape this? If I move these out here like that, that moves the 2 extra tiles to a dead space, which I think is... Ah, shoot, right. This is legal, though. Yeah, we still have 2 tiles of dead space. Are you... Oh, right. This is the opposite symbol. It's not this thing, but for unlit. I always do that. So hold on. All of the logic I used to do the puzzle is wrong then. Because I was very much doing that thing. Okay, so this has to be a lit tile, actually. Because these 2 have to be dark so that this can get through. Okay, so we know that. I guess not all the logic I used is bad, like this is still true. If we do kind of, if we do kind of the same shape type thing. 5, 3, 4, 4. This is actually 1 too many. No, that's the right number of tiles. Okay. This does necessarily connect build through here. Does that work? 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then it is just a matter of like rebuilding the shape to hide the dead space. Nope, that has to stay on. But this is... yeah, then we have to fill those in. All right, that's a 16 and a 15, which would make 31. This is a 6 by 6. Certainly 5 tiles of dead space, which there totally are. Yeah, 3 singles and a double. Okay, cool. Oh, this is cute. So it's gonna be something like this, right? Is that the right number of tiles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. That one's really easy because there's only one way that there's only one way that almost any of those elements possibly can work. Okay, that was a nice confidence booster of a puzzle to go out on. I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When y'all come back next time, probably Tuesday or thereabouts, maybe late Tuesday, we will continue working through this area underneath the mountain. I don't think there's all that much left. I'm just sprinting around here. You know what? There's a couple of big areas left. There is still definitely stuff to do. And we have not yet even figured out the other under the mountain. This is a bad naming convention. Let's call this behind the waterfall. We have not figured out the original under the mountain area at all yet. So there is still stuff coming. Come back next time to find out how I deal with it. And we'll see you then.